Hello friends, welcome to my channel Explore with Joyeeta. Today I am going to tell you all about the highest peak in the world, which is the Mount Everest. Before starting this video, I request you to subscribe my channel to get more fascinating videos like this. And don't forget to like and share. Now let's move on.
The Himalayas stretch across the northeastern portion of India. They cover approximately 2,400 kilometers and pass through the nations of India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, China, Bhutan and Nepal. In Sanskrit, Himalayas means abode of snow. The mountain is totally covered with snow. The height of the mountain varies depending on the amount of snowfall on its peak. The Himalayas act as a strong defense barrier. It saves our country from the cold and dry winds of Central Asia. They also prevent the monsoon winds of the Indian Ocean from crossing over to northern countries and cause heavy rainfall in northern India. Many rivers have their sources in the Himalayan ranges. The three major geographical entities of the Himalayas are the Himadri or the Greater Himalaya, the Himachal or the Lesser Himalaya, and the Sivaliks or the Outer Himalaya. Extend almost uninterrupted throughout its length and are separated by major geological fault lines. The Mount Everest lies in the Himadri mountain range or the Greater Himalayas. It is a peak in the Himalayan mountain range and located between Nepal and Tibet, an autonomous region of China. At 8,849 meters or 29,032 feet, it is considered the tallest point on Earth. The Mount Everest was named after the British Surveyor General of India, Sir George Everest, as he was the first to recognize the mountain in 1841. The Tibetan name of Mount Everest is Chomolungma, which means Mother Goddess of the World, and the Nepali name is Sagarmatha, which has various meanings. In 1924, explorer Noel Odell was the first to discover marine fossils on Mount Everest, which proved that the Mount Everest area was originally covered by an ocean. The limestone and sandstone on the summit were found to be submarine sedimentary rocks formed approximately 450 million years ago. However, geologists consider that Everest has only been a mountain for about 60 million years. That is, since the Indian plate started being subducted by the Eurasian plate forming the Himalayas. Mount Everest must be growing faster now than in the past, if that's so, as it would take only 2 million years for Mount Everest to rise 8,848 meters at recent measurements of 400 millimeters per year. Mount Everest attracts many climbers, including highly experienced mountaineers. There are two main climbing routes, one approaching the summit from the southeast in Nepal, known as the Standard Route, and the other from the north in Tibet. While not posing substantial technical climbing challenges on the Standard Route, Everest presents dangers such as altitude sickness, weather and wind, as well as hazards from avalanches and Khumbu icefall. As of November 2022, 310 people have died on Everest. Over 200 bodies remain on the mountain and have not been removed due to the dangerous conditions. Even with the extensive system of ropes and ladders installed each climbing season by the ice doctors, the Khumbu icefall is the most dangerous part of an Everest expedition. Climbers who ascend higher than 26,000 feet on Mount Everest enter the death zone. In this area, oxygen is so limited that the body's cells start to die and judgment becomes impaired. Climbers can also experience heart attacks, strokes, or severe altitude sickness. Human bodies cannot function properly above a certain altitude. If climbers want to summit Mount Everest, the tallest peak in the world at 29,029 feet above sea level, they have to brave what's known as the death zone. The altitude about 8,000 meters where there is so little oxygen that the body starts to die minute by minute and cell by cell. In the death zone, climbers' brains and lungs are starved for oxygen. the risk of heart attack and stroke is increased and their judgment quickly becomes impaired. The first recorded efforts to reach Everest summits were made by the British mountaineers. As Nepal did not allow foreigners to enter the country at the time, the British made several attempts on the North Ridge route from the Tibetan side. After the first reconnaissance expedition by the British in 1921 reached 7,000 meters on the North Pole, the 1922 expedition pushed the North Ridge route up to 8,320 meters, marking the first time a human had climbed above 8,000 meters. The 1924 expedition resulted in one day of the greatest mysteries on Everest to this day. George Mallory and Andrew Irvine made a final summit attempt on 8 June but never returned, sparking debate as to whether they were the first to reach the top. The first time summit of Mount Everest was 1983 May 29 by Sir Edmund Hillary from New Zealand and Tenzing Norway from Nepal. It was the first to summit from the southern slopes of Nepal. In 1964, Navang Gombu Sherpa became the first Indian and the third man in the world to summit. He became the first man in the world to have climbed Mount Everest twice, a record that would remain unbroken for almost 20 years. Jordan Romero is an American mountain climber who was 13 years old when he reached the summit of Mount Everest. There were more than 5,000 different people who have stood on the top of the Everest over 9,000 times. Kamirita Sherpa is the person who has climbed Mount Everest the most times. He reached the summit for the 24th time on May 21, 2019. Sherpa is a people group who have settled on both sides of the Himalayas. Living in mountainous areas with thin air, a unique physical characteristic has been inherited by the Sherpa people: increased hemoglobin production. This inherent factor which allows them to function well in the Himalayas' low oxygen environment. Sherpas have become the best guides on Mount Everest. They not only lead the way for the climbers, but also many Sherpas help with carrying supplies for the climbers, as well as some rescue items, camping equipment, etc. Their packs can weigh more than 5 times as much as ordinary climbers. Frances Arsentive is known as the Sleeping Beauty of Everest. She died on Mount Everest on May 24, 1998, when she descended from the top of the tallest mountain after setting the record of the first American female to climb Everest without oxygen. Frances was an American native born and raised in Hawaii. On average, the cost of climbing Mount Everest can range from about 25 lakh to 1 crore in Indian currency. This includes expenses such as climbing permits, expedition fees, guide and Sherpa services equipment, logistics, travel costs, lodging, food, oxygen supplies and other miscellaneous expenses. There are many ways to see Mount Everest. They are 1 hour mountain flight in Kathmandu and 3/4 hours helicopter flight from Kathmandu, Nepal.
So friends, this was my video today. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed this video, do like and share. And don't forget to subscribe my channel to get more fascinating videos like this. Thank you. Bye bye.